Hey YouTube, good Monday morning. Snowy day outside. Coming up with our next project. And we come up with something else for the truck. I looked down on my table down the other day, underneath there, and I said, you know what, I had to do something with that battery down there. That's one that was left over from the she shed project for the power inverter. And I come up with an idea. I think what I'm going to do is, seeing as we got our air system moved to the back, got that all tucked away, I think we're going to end up putting an inverter system in here, since I've got this dead space back behind my seat. And I think I'm going to make a shelf out of that 1x10 vinyl I just bought, and we're going to mount our battery in there, and we're going to put a Victron inverter, and this is going to be a standalone because it's not going to use the truck batteries. It's going to use that 300 amp, and we're going to buy a 12 volt to 12 volt charger, a 30 amp Victron charger, and we're going to mount that back there, and that's going to get fed off of one of our last remaining 40 amp outfitter switches. So whenever the truck's running, I can just turn that switch on and I can charge that standalone battery back there. So I don't got to worry about running the truck. Say that's a pretty good size battery, and that'll run that we're getting a 1600 watt Phoenix Victron inverter. Nice inverter. It's got good protections in it, and we're going to mount a weatherproof box right up in here, and I think I can fish that wire down to the frame rails, and we'll put a GFI and a weatherproof cover on it, and we'll have 1600 watts of power back here. Say we got our airline fitting in, and I guess we'll get to work. It's going to be a couple days because we still got to wait for some of the stuff to show up, but we'll get that shelf cut and see where we go from there. Well, there's our shelf. That's going to be sitting on the bottom. That's going to be the back wall. And I just put a bunch of screws in the bottom. I think it's going to be stiff enough, but we're going to mount our charger here, put our battery here, and our inverter will be over here. So try to make a good looking install. Okay, this is kind of the plan. I hate laying stuff out if I don't have all the parts, but I'm getting the measurements off of the Victron website, and I think this is going to work. I'm going to go over to the barn, grab a couple more of our old Subway straps with the claps, or the clasps on them, and we're going to put a strap over this so that'll hold it down. Got these old brackets from under the old junk table over there, keep it from going side to side, secure the battery. And our inverter should lay here. It's pretty good size, but this should be enough. And then our DC charger will be here, and that'll be vertical because it's got cooling fins in the back. So we'll be back when I get that tied up, and I'm gonna have to lay this out because I've got to put another bushing down to the bottom of where this shelf is to bring the 120 volt wires in from the back. I think I got enough room on the other side where I brought up the other stuff for the charger wire, but we're definitely going to put our bushing in here. Okay, we added some extra bracing along the back side with that perforated angle iron, stiffen that up. Got one of our old Subway straps bolted in there and on the back, and we've got some high compression foam on the back and on the sides so we don't get a lot of digging into the sides of them brackets. So I guess next I'll take this out there and just confirm that that shelf's going to fit in the back. And we'll be back. Okay, looks like our bracket is going to work. Our battery will go over there. I did have to notch the base on both sides because the bottom of the seat was hitting it. So hopefully it's going to be close with that inverter. I might end up having to tilt it at an angle to get it to fit, but I think we're still going to be able to get everything in here. So now I guess we'll wait for some parts to show up. So we'll see you in a couple days. Well, it's Tuesday and we're back. We're still waiting for some parts, but once it warmed up a little bit, I crawled onto the truck, and what I did is I had some flexible stranded MC cable that I pulled down through the frame up. I covered it down underneath with some wire loom where it was exposed so the salt wouldn't get to it so bad, and we fished her up through this bushing. So I'm just going to convert that to a 15 amp plug when I get the final set for it. But over there in the other hole, down around that side, we ran that 3/4 PEX along the rail that we've been using for a wire chase. It pops right up by the outfitter switch bundle there, and that's our last 40 amp feed that's going to go on that last switch, and that's going to be our 30 amp charger feed when that shows up. But go back here. Yeah, because all I had to do, I took that tail light off, and it's an open chaseway down to the bottom. I got it up and about, and then there's a hole right there that I was able to fish over the top of that light and bring it right into the back of that box. So now we're going to put our GFI on there and our cover, and that's probably as far as we're going to make it today. So probably Wednesday or Thursday we'll be back. Okay, it's Wednesday morning. We got a few small items in, but we got this finished up. Got her cover on there, got her labeled. That inverter is actually good for 1450 watts. I misspoke. It's 1600 VA, but that's actual wattage. 2200 watt surge. Got that wired in all the way to the front. Got a cord cap put on that MC, and we put some wire loom. So that's going to be ready to be plugged in. Then inside we had our Bojack catastrophic fuses show up. Those are nice. I just bolt right on, and it's just a lug. And our inverter lead will go right on that. And it says I can put a 200 amp on there for surge, so that's what we got. Got this out of my pile of stuff. This come off an old electric wheelchair that I tore apart. I sold a lot of pieces, but this is a nice little harness. Got number 10. Give us a quick disconnect, and these will get cut off eventually, and that'll go into the output of the charger when that shows. That's supposed to show tomorrow, but that'll give a quick way to disconnect it, and it's a 30 amp rated connection. So that is it for today. Probably do a little cleaning, but we'll be back tomorrow. Okay, it's Friday. They dropped off our charger yesterday and some lugs and some cables, so we're going to be able to continue a little bit. It says the inverter's coming today, but I don't think so. Yesterday it was in Alabama, so I don't think it's going to make it here, but hopefully tomorrow. But we got something we can work on. This is a little bigger than what I thought it was going to be, so I added another piece on the end of this, and we're going to mount this inside here, and it still gives me clearance for my battery And then this will leave this whole end open for our inverter. So if we got to tilt it or whatever, we'll have plenty of room. We should have. Because if I put it in this space, I don't think I'd have enough room to maneuver it. So either way, I'll be safe mounting that there because it's not going to interfere with this. So let's get her mounted up. Okay, we got our charger mounted. We've got clearance from our battery bracket. We got our quick disconnect here, which is going to be good since we're not going to really be able to access this without taking the battery out. But we shouldn't have to. This is Bluetooth controlled. And I ran a couple out here to this. So when I bring the feeds in, if we want to take this out, all we got to do is take the feeds off and this will all stay together. So we might put this battery in and we'll be back. Maybe I'll get that disconnect switch mounted for the inverter. I don't think that's going to screw us long term, so we'll be back. Okay, we got our disconnect switch here, manual switch, 200 amp fuse, cables, charging input cable, quick disconnect off our charger, and our cable input on the back. I might take this apart, throw it in the truck, and get on the Bluetooth app and just confirm that the charging part of it's going to work while we're waiting for our other pieces. So we'll see what happens. All right, we got her in here temporary. Got our DC motor meter on here. It was just reading 31. Now it's at about 30 amps going into the battery, and it's at idle. And this truck has the dual alternator package, which is going to be good. So when I got all this stuff on, it'll take it easy on my batteries. But this is going to work, I think. Our Bluetooth came right up. Our quick disconnects are working. So now we're just waiting for our inverter. We'll be back. Well, it's Saturday morning and our 1600 watt inverter showed up in the morning instead of the afternoon, so that's nice. Now we got to see if we can get this big sucker in there and get her wired up. I made some jumpers and tested it on this battery to make sure it works first, but time to get to work. Okay, she's going to be a couch full. I think I'm going to have to get a right angle plug adapter for that because this baby's a room filler. But I will have enough room to manipulate my cables over there. I got to get some measurements and I'll get them pre-cut. But I got to do something with this. I'm going to go see what I got. Well, okay, I think we got a winner here. We took everything inside and stripped everything inside, and then we brought it back out and reattached it to the battery. I ended up converting that MC to a right angle plug because of the configuration on the bottom, but we got her all butt spliced and taped up and covered in that wire loom for protection. So we should be just about ready to fire this thing up and see if we got some 120 at the back. All right, what do we got here? Oh, we got a red light. That's good news. Hit our reset. See if I can get this in here. What do we got? 119.9. Next we'll plug a power tool in here and see what happens. All right, we're gonna go with the old standby, the circular saw. Let's see what happens. I like it. Okay, we can finish this up. That looks pretty good right there. Looks all, you know, looks like a factory install. You all we got to do is pull the seat forward, shut our disconnect off when we're not using it. That way we don't got to mess with the other switch. And our charger is over there. So whenever we want to, you know, if we've been running this a lot, we get running down the highway, we'll just hit our charger button on the far right. And I might put a small amp meter up there just to verify it's going in, so I don't have to get on the Victron amp all the time. But I'll just get like a round ammeter and just stick it on top so I can just look down the seat real quick. I like it. And we still got room, a little bit of room here for our little tool bag, and everything else I put in the back anyway. So that's it, folks. Have a good day. Oh, one last safety thing. I think we're going to get a small piece of rubber, and we're going to cover both these terminals. So if somebody throws like a metal snow scraper shovel or something in there, we don't go, Jesus, what's happening? But we'll put a safety cover on that, so we should be good. Have a nice weekend.